There was an event that Pitt hosted in December that I attended, and I believe you were part of planning, and that was an equitable casting town hall.
Yes.
A town hall to discuss the concept of equitable casting in Pittsburgh. How would you describe, that concept for those who maybe weren't there or aren't familiar with it?
Well, the equitable casting is to make sure that as you said, theater is a powerful art form, and it's an immediate art form. But we want to make sure that all voices are heard. That even though most of the plays that we call the classics are written by white men, and they are wonderful plays, but there are other new classics that we can also explore. And it's not just about telling those stories, but making sure that the right people are in the roles to tell the stories. So it's essentially what the meeting was about.
And I suppose that if Pittsburgh was a beautiful place where equitable casting was evident, we wouldn't be having a situation like that. But what do you think the challenge, what do you feel the challenge is in Pittsburgh right now in the arts to achieve equitable casting?
Well, honestly, the challenge is pretty much nationwide. This conversation's been going on for years. But I think partly, and we as theater artists, we all love to work with people we know and love. And sometimes we limit ourselves. And so it's very easy to not look outside your sphere and say, oh, well, I can't, these people aren't in Pittsburgh because I don't know them, so I will cast the people I know.
Yeah.
So one of the main things we wanted to do with our meeting is to show people that there are resources out there, and there are ways to find and meet casting challenges rather than maybe cast a show that's against the author's wishes.
Yeah. And I remember, talking to a couple of people there, some of the things that were getting said. It seems like it's a really tough circle to jump into because actors of color in this city have left because there aren't enough roles for diverse actors. But then on the other side of it, companies that could possibly produce shows with diverse roles say, well, where are the actors of color? So it's where do you step on? And I think maybe it's just starting a conversation, which yourself and a lot of the folks that were there to chat about it certainly did. I think originally it was Saul Crespo was one of the organizers too, and I met her for the first time that night. I think said that at first she maybe didn't think maybe 30 people would just show up, but there were well over 140
people ended up coming.
So I think just for starters, just having that event and starting that conversation is in itself a way.
Absolutely.
But if you're an artist or somebody who is maybe in charge of developing a theater company, what are some ways that aside from being open to conversation, that you can embrace equitable casting in your own organization?
Well, one, you want to. It's hard. You're not going to attract actors and artists of color if you don't present their works. So it's kind of a catch-22 that as well, right? Is you don't want to present works unless you can cast them well, but people aren't going to come if they don't see themselves represented in your company. So that's one of the things that's important, is you want to make sure that people realize that they're welcome and that their stories will be told. And then there are theater companies in town that do have diverse casts. So going to them is a really good start. You guys, you can talk to Mark Southers and say, you always have a diverse cast up there. Where do you find the people, and can you recommend people for this? This is the age range I'm looking for. And there are 3 major universities in this town that have a diverse student population. So there's lots of young, diverse talent in this town that we can nurture and try to keep. So there are ways of doing it. But you also have to invest time and effort. Yeah.
Now, what do you feel has been the result of having that equitable casting town hall and those open conversations?
I don't know if that remains to be seen yet.
Oh, yeah.
But I think it was encouraging to have that many people and most of the theater companies represented. It was great that people were joining the discussion and are continuing the discussion. I feel like lots of people are still talking about it. And during that meeting, I think we made it clear that we're going to start holding theater companies accountable. So if they, if they cast a show that's supposed to be for Latinos, and maybe they cast it all full of non-Latinos that we might be knocking on their door and saying, okay, what's going on here?
To lend
Yeah,
a
like-
little insight might be helpful there. Yeah.
Right.